Sometimes, when you finally allow yourself to feel the anger, the next emotion that shows up is guilt. And that can feel confusing because part of you is saying, I had the right to feel this way. And another part of you is saying, but maybe they did the best they could. If you ever felt that tension, this episode is for you. Hey, I'm Aurélie Zephyr, a licensed therapist, and this is Wapkutim Mapkutil. You are listening to me, I am listening to you. Today, I want to talk about something that comes up a lot in healing, especially when it comes to our relationship with our caregivers. Whether it's your parents or whoever raised you, a lot of times when we become adult and we start healing, we begin to look back at our childhood differently. We start to realize that there were moments where our needs were not met. Maybe you felt unseen. Maybe you felt unheard. Maybe you felt like you had to take care of others instead of being taken care of. And that can show up in different ways as an adult. For some people, it shows up as distant. You might find it hard to connect with your parent. You might avoid them. For others, it shows as codependency. You feel responsible for them. You feel like you have to take care of them emotionally. You put their own needs before yours, even when it hurts you. And sometimes that comes from being parentified as a child, where you had to grow up too fast, where you had to hold things you were never meant to hold. So when healing starts, when you begin to process all this, anger often comes up. And that anger is not random. That anger is coming from the part of you that has been holding all of this for years. Your inner child, your younger self. The part of you that did not have the space to say, this hurt me. This wasn't okay. I needed more. And this is important. That anger is valid. It is necessary because for a long time it was bottled up. Your body has been carrying it. Part of healing is allowing that anger to come out through journaling, through reflection, through giving yourself, your younger self, a voice. But then something else happens. As you continue healing, you start to see your caregiver differently. You start to understand their story. Maybe they were also hurt. Maybe they didn't have the tools. Maybe they were doing the best they could with what they knew. And now you are seeing things from your adult perspective. And this is where guilt comes in. You might start thinking, why was I so angry? Maybe I was too hard on them. They did what they could. And suddenly, you start feeling guilty for feeling the anger in the first place. This is something I work through a lot with people in the therapy room. Because what's happening here is that two parts of you are speaking at the same time: your younger self and your adult self. Your younger self did not have the capacity to understand your parents' struggle. As a child, your role was not to understand. Your role was to receive, to be loved, to be protected, to have your needs met. So when those needs were not met, anger made sense. Your younger self had every right to feel that way. But now, as an adult, you can see the bigger picture. You can understand your parents' limitation, their history, their stories, their pain. And that is also true. The difficulty, though, is holding both truth at the same time. Because many people feel like they have to choose. Either I was hurt or they did their best. But healing is not about choosing one. Healing is about holding both. Yes, I was hurt. And yes, they might have done the best they could. Both can exist without canceling each other. The problem is when guilt turns inward. When you start saying to yourself, I shouldn't have been angry. I was wrong for feeling that way. Because what that does is it invalidates your younger self all over again. It tells that part of you, you did not have the right to feel what you felt. And this is where compassion comes in. Instead of turning against yourself, you turn toward your younger self. You say, I see you. I understand why you felt that way. You were doing the best you could too. This is where reparenting happens. You begin to give yourself what you didn't receive back then: love, safety, validation, care. You show up for yourself in the way you needed someone else to. And over time, when you allow both parts of you to exist, the part that was hurt and the part that understands, that's when things begin to integrate. That's when healing deepens. So if you are in that place right now, where your anger is turning into guilt, I want you to remember this. Your anger was valid, and your understanding can also be valid. You don't have to choose. Just be compassionate with every version of yourself that got you here. Before we close today, I also want to remind you about Lakai Within. Lakai Within is a space I created for Haitian women to slow down, reconnect with themselves, and experience healing in community. The next gathering will take place on April 14th. And if you've been looking for a space to pause, reflect, and be supported, I would love to see you there. You can find the details in the show note. Thank you for tuning in to Wapkutim Mapkutil. If this episode resonated, subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who might need it. And remember, keep prioritizing yourself, keep learning, and let's heal, grow, and thrive together.